Moshi Moshi. Let's talk about the future. I'm Kristy Bird MaKieve, and I am the host of Evergood Podcast. Welcome to this episode, which is episode 14. It is the end of January 2026. Today, I'm just going to be talking about two of the consulting projects that I have through Evergood Consultants, and they are both focused on medical education in a way. So this podcast is all about healthcare education innovation, and I'm primarily focused in California, which is where I live and where I've worked since 1997. So I have most of my contacts here. I'm going to start off with my latest contract, which is GME Startup Solutions through Physicians for a Healthy California. So let me back up a little bit and explain that PHC, Physicians for a Healthy California, has Lupe Alonzo-Diaz, the CEO and president. And several years ago, she started GME Startup Solutions, and the pandemic happened and everything else. So I'm really excited that I've been hired to help relaunch that. We got going at the end of 2025, but I realized we haven't really spread the news much. So, and I'm hopeful that I can share this with my former fellow, we're still fellows, medical executives from throughout the state of California, and who really know the local healthcare situation and would know if there's anyone interested at all in starting up or expanding residency programs or fellowships, anything like that. So a shout out to all of those medical executive directors that I used to work with when I was the executive director of both Butte Glen Medical Society, now called Northern California Rural Medical Association, and with North Valley Medical Association. And those two medical associations represent 10 counties north of Sacramento. So it's a huge area, and there's not a lot of physicians. And so we ultimately created Healthy Rural California as the 501(c)(3 that then led the development of a psychiatry residency and a family medicine residency. I was CEO of Healthy Rural California as well. And so that was a really exciting time, and it really taught me a lot. And that is why Lupe at Physicians for a Healthy California wanted to hire me to get GME Startup Solutions going again. So there's a lot of good work that had happened in the past, lots of discussions, and sort of being cheerleaders for the expansion of graduate medical education throughout the state of California. In part, I'm recording this today because I've been able to bring some great contacts to GME Startup Solutions, but they're mostly in the Central Coast and Northern California. And I'm really hopeful that Southern California, Central Valley, maybe up into Tahoe, like if there is even a whisper of graduate medical education, my services from now through the end of August are free through Physicians for a Healthy California. And so I just want my colleagues to know that I'm available and happy to talk to anyone that you know, an FQHC, hospital, physician who's just really passionate about medical education in your communities. Let me know. My email is evergoodconsultants@gmail.com, or you could reach out to Lupe. I think most people know who she is and have her contact information. So I wanted to say that my current projects are helping the Reading area set up a GI fellowship. I have the long-term vision of what that would take, but we're currently working on a rural track of UC Davis, so fingers crossed that that keeps going. And then I'm also working with a hospital in Monterey that is GME naive, and they want to go the distance. And so helping them with a 5-year strategy for growth, because there's certain financial constraints from CMS, basically called the 5-year cap, reimbursement cap. So you'd want to, if you're going to start with one residency, you need to make sure you have your 5-year strategy in place and to go for as many residencies and fellows as possible, so that you have that financial resource forevermore. Yeah, I've said this a million times. I feel like maybe not on this podcast, but the 5-year cap is really short for expanding, developing, taking a hospital into sponsoring institution status. That's a year in and of itself. And then once you get the residencies approved and they step over the threshold into your hospital, that triggers that 5-year cap. And a lot of times when a hospital is new to having a residency program, there's a lot of, you know, there's just a lot that has to happen to make sure that those residents are onboarded and strong. A lot of times there's partnerships with community members also have to be strong. So, there's the recruitment of the residents in the first place. So there's just a lot of work that goes into establishing one residency, let alone stacking up five, as many as possible in a 5-year time frame. So that's exciting. I'm really excited to work with this hospital in Monterey and see what we can do, and of course, partnering with another consultant to make that happen. And I say that because I think that's where my strength is that front end, the community building, the coalition building, the sort of mapping out what it would be the best in that community for who's the sponsoring institution, what's the primary site, all of those things. And then when you get into the real financial analysis and final feasibility studies, to then have other consultants come in and partner with you. I just had a conversation with another entity in the Monterey, Santa Cruz area the other day, and it is a potential other site. And then as I head up to talk to the new CEO of Healthy Rural California, Emmy Johnson, next week, I'm going to talk to her about other GME growth plans. And then I'm going to bop over to Red Bluff because Dr. Debbie Lupeka and she's with UC Davis now, but she also is working at a clinic in Red Bluff. And so I'm going to head over there and see what we might consider if there is interest, and get sort of figure out what that could look like or would look like. So yeah, it's exciting. These rural and underserved areas like Redding and Red Bluff are experiencing specialty physician shortages, which is best addressed through internal medicine and with a sponsoring institution. So it's a complicated, long process to really turn that ship around. But let's see what's possible. So I share this with you as a way of letting you know like what my capabilities are, what I'm looking for, and I just really would love to talk to folks in Southern California, over on the eastern seaboard side of the state, and then of course the Central Valley. And would love to talk to the coalitions that are in those areas that I'm not familiar with yet. So putting that out there into the universe. So GME Startup Solutions is a real innovative approach from Physicians for a Healthy California. And I point that out because we're not quite set up yet, I would say, my analysis of it, to be that, be out there. That's why I'm recording this, right? Like, does anybody know that GME Startup Solutions is ready and waiting to hear from you and start working to expand these incredible ideas that physicians have throughout the state, and to say that Lupe is also available if anybody wants to talk to her. Physicians for Healthy California is such a great entity to do this, though, because they have a very long, strong history of being the administrator of funding that really helps grow the healthcare workforce of the future and physician workforce in particular, of course. So they administer Cal Health Cares, which is loan repayments, and that's for dentists as well. I think there's another healthcare workforce that is in there as well, but I'm blanking on it right now. But anyway, Cal Health Cares has been a very good solution for ensuring that we have the healthcare workforce of the future, and as well Cal MedForce, and that had primarily been or first funded by Song Brown funds. And so Song Brown funds were set by the state of California to support primary care only. So in 2025, they started, Physicians for Healthy California started Cal MedForce Plus, which expanded to psychiatry and other specialties. So that was a dream come true for me, and why I'm so excited to be working with Physicians for Healthy California at this time. So GME Startup Solutions is a little bit different, right? It's not a fund. There's no funding at this time to provide to folks except my expertise, right? And my work is available to anybody at this time. So just exciting times. And of course, Physicians for Healthy California is the foundation arm of the California Medical Association and doing really, really great stuff for physicians in our state. The other contract that I have is not actually focused on graduate medical education at this time. So just to clarify, super happy and grateful that Donna Odrina and the board of the Santa Cruz Monterey Medical Association hired me. They also represent the San Benito County physicians. And they have hired me as the consulting executive director of Physicians for Healthy Central Coast, which is the foundation 501(c)(3) arm of their medical association. And so it's been wonderful to work with them. And I've been producing a new e-newsletter called Healthy Central Coast with a focus on faculty development, because there's Prime Central Coast, UC Davis's regional/branch campus that is being formed in partnership with UC Santa Cruz. And that is originally what I was hired to do, was to help set up that Prime Central Coast, is sort of the core clerkships and get that ball rolling. And that's what I did in the late summer, fall. And UC Davis is off and running. So my work there has shifted to supporting the growth of Physicians for Healthy Central Coast Foundation. And excited to share that we were awarded an HCI grant to form Bridging to Behavioral Health as a behavioral mental health workforce, just to do a couple of things throughout this one year, 2026. And so I'm still working on what that looks like and trying to promote, like, there's the psychology degree at UC Santa Cruz. There's interest in the psychiatry residency. So of course, getting into the medical school pathway, with the future eye on, a psychiatry residency in the Central Coast, fingers crossed, knock on wood. Okay, so that's what I'm excited about. These are really picking up steam, and so yeah, if anyone is interested in my support over the next few months, my contract ends in August. So with Physicians for a Healthy California. So I'm eager to get the news out there and make sure that folks know that I am available now. And hopeful that we can also raise some funds to continue that work. But GME Startup Solutions is a great place to come with your questions and let me see if I can help you. There's other things in the works, and I'm excited to just see what else 2026 will hold. Evergood Consultants just got started last summer, so it's thrilling to actually have the success that we've had. And then this Evergood podcast is just my way of having those conversations with people. I'm just so lucky. I had so many great conversations with people over the years in this space, and in particular, just am fascinated with innovation in the healthcare education space because it's the future, right? What do we need to be doing now to make sure that we have the healthcare workforce in the future? And of course, always supporting physicians and medical education because it often, especially in rural areas, is like it's like, well, people go away to medical school, and what that does is actually drives those physicians away from the areas where they grew up. And it's harder and harder as they progress on that journey outside of your community to come back. I was actually with the COMET Collaborative, which is UC Davis and Oregon State University or Health Universities. It used to be called Compadre and it's now called COMET Collaborative. And so they did their monthly meeting the other day, and they had somebody from North Carolina who was talking about the physician shortage and how they've managed to have both 3-year medical school students and 4-year medical students being taught in the same environment, in the same clinic, and sort of what that looks like. And they've done a great job of mapping that out so that it's clear to everyone. And then they were mentioning how if you look at just sort of the number of medical students being trained to be physicians, there are enough, right, in this track. The problem really is getting them into the rural communities and getting ahead of this gray wave that will be, it's actually probably happening now, but where, areas where the average age of physicians is like 55, 60, 65 and older. That's what you got to look at. And so when I think about innovation, it's really, how do we find those new education pathways that can make that difference? All right, well, I'm going to stop talking and wish you all a great day. Thank you for joining Evergood Podcast.
Lost my sense of humor, I've climbed into Fontanelle. Hovercrafts, blow-up kayaks would have helped with angry toes, but it gave mashed potatoes. Take that meatloaf back, hi. Birthday dehydrated cake and box of wine. So